Hey guys, EBP Man here. Just a few weeks ago, I was at the CES 2017 Consumer Electronics Show and was able to meet up with the folks from NVIDIA. One of the things that they were showcasing at the show was their second generation of the NVIDIA Shield. And guess what we have in our studio today? The NVIDIA Shield 2 2017 version, straight from CES. Let's check it out. Now, on our channel, we've reviewed the NVIDIA Shield, and it's by far the best Android streaming box on the market. It beats everyone from a performance perspective. I would say from a look and feel. I would say giving you the complete package as what you see here. From a gaming controller and a standard controller, NVIDIA has done a really nice job when it's come to their original NVIDIA Shield. So you have to ask yourself, how can they make it even better? And I have to say, they have. I've seen this in production. I saw this at the show. I spoke with the product management organization at NVIDIA Shield and was just blown away of the improvements that they've made. So today we're going to do an unboxing. We'll talk about what's changed and what's not, and some of the value proposition around why you would consider an NVIDIA Shield. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll go through the unboxing. Now, the NVIDIA Shield is a great add-on for any television. If you don't have a smart TV, this box will make it smart. If you have a smart TV as it is today, it's going to make it smarter. And that's because it runs the entire Android ecosystem, gives you access to millions of apps that are available, games, everything that's included in the Android ecosystem is there. So it's an Android TV that's going to give you the ability to see movies and television at 4K. It does have voice control, and one of the new things that they've added is the new Google Assistant. It also has Alexa type I would say voice assistant integration, and it has advanced gaming capabilities. So it's going to give you the ability to take that television that as you're walking maybe in one of the big box retailers and you're saying, gee, I wish I had a smart TV, it's going to allow you to turn it into that smart TV. But not only is it going to turn it into a smart TV, this for streaming content that is available on Netflix, on Hulu, on Amazon, as you can see here, but this is also one of the best Kodi boxes on the market. So if you have seen my videos on Kodi and the value that you get from using Kodi, this is like the ultimate box and well worth the investment if you're looking to get a cord cutting solution. So let's go ahead, do the unboxing, we'll look at the specs, and we'll see what's changed. Now let's take a look at the specs here for a second. You do have an NVIDIA Tegra X1 processor, 256 core NVIDIA graphics 64-bit CPU. It does have 3 gig of RAM for processing, so that's like for getting the screen, all the activities as you're using a game or streaming a movie. And then it has 16 gig of storage plus USB expansion. Now we'll pause here for a second, because if you remember and look at my video for the original NVIDIA Shield, the specs are exactly the same with subtle differences. So it does have the same processor and memory when it comes from a processing perspective. And you may ask, why hasn't NVIDIA chosen to do anything in this area? And that's because the Shield is probably 3 times or beyond that faster than any of the boxes that I've ever seen. So they didn't invest really in making the CPU or the processing faster, because they already have the fastest Android TV box on the market today, not by a factor by 1, not a factor by 2, but well over a factor of 3. So no changes there. Now, one of the things that you'll notice here is the term USB expansion. I've purchased the 16 gig, or received the 16 gig version of it, and this is what I've purchased in the past, and I can recommend that you do as well. They have 2 versions. They have a 16 gig and they have a Pro version which has a 500 gig hard drive in it. Well, this is the most affordable one, and what you can do is you can expand. The previous one had a micro SD slot and USB. This version only has USB. So there is a USB 3.0 little plug-in dongle that they recommend that's going to expand the storage of this unit an additional 128 gig for those of you who want to store content on the Shield. And you may ask yourself, why would you store content on the Shield if it's a streaming box? Well, some people are using the Shield as a media center. If you are familiar with the program called Plex, which is a media center, it could turn this streamer into a server, and it would serve your entire home of set-top boxes. So you could have all your movies on that 128 gig, and it's going to share it throughout your house if you have smartphones and tablets. So you don't need a NVIDIA Shield on every desktop or on your phone. You just need the Plex program. So again, this is an Android TV that does support Google Cast. So that means if you have Google Home and you want to cast something and you want to use Google Home to say, hey Google, and you want to tell it to show me YouTube videos on kittens on my NVIDIA Shield, it would come up, or whatever you name this set-top box. It does have 4K HDR, 1080p, 720p as well capabilities, HDMI. It does support all of the modern bands when it comes to Wi-Fi, so you have no problem supporting faster bands, and it also has gigabit Ethernet. USB 3.0, you have 2 of those, and then obviously some really nice sound quality capabilities. So this is, again, still, even though these specs haven't changed from previous years, this is still the best, fastest box on the market. Now, as you're looking at this video, if you are an experienced NVIDIA Shield owner and you're wanting to go buy one now, one of the things I failed to mention at the very beginning was that this NVIDIA Shield upgrade is available January 16th. Today is the 13th, so you can pre-order and expect it to ship and potentially receive it on the 16th of this month. So if you're looking for this box now, like you're saying, I want it, I want it, I want it, it becomes available on the 16th. So this is what the NVIDIA Shield looks like, and before we take it out of the box, I want to tell you why I was so impressed when I was talking to the NVIDIA team at CES with this unit. We saw that the CPU is not anything new or improved, but the footprint has been drastically improved. I just want to show you something. Here is an LG V20, and I'm going to put it right on top of it. Notice it's just probably a ½ an inch wider, but it's literally almost the same height as an LG V20, which means that it's pretty much as tall as your iPhone 7 Plus, as well as just slightly a little bit larger. So the footprint has been dramatically improved here. So here you have it. This is the NVIDIA Shield. It is smaller. Here's my hand. Look how it's just it's as large as my hand. Nice footprint, which is going to be great for those of you who really like looking at the aesthetics of your media center, or if you want to tuck this away. So here you have pretty much nothing on this side, nothing really visible here, nothing visible here, and then all of the controls are here in the bag. Very clean interface, very small, and you notice you have your 2 USB, which are expandable, and then you have HDMI, gigabit Ethernet, and then you have your power. And once again, you can procure a stand where you can stand it up like this, but this is what's in the box, and this is why I'm so excited about this unit. Now, you do have a remote control, and the remote control has changed. It has a different feel to it, but it's pretty much the same in design, in my opinion. You do have voice controls where you can use the new Google Assistant that's only available today on the Google Pixel. And again, we talked about it has Alexa integration, and this is the button you press for that. Here's your back button, your center button, very similar to what you see on the Fire Stick, right? So you can do volume control by just swiping up here like this, and it's rechargeable, which is the best part. And it's not line of sight, so I love that. So I'm going to put that to the side. Now, the other thing that they've done is they much improved the controller, and I'm going to bring in my original NVIDIA and we're going to put them side by side, but so that you can get a sense. This is the new controller, and what they've worked on really is how comfortable this controller is in your hand, and they've really worked hard on the weight distribution. So this is very easy to hold, and to hold for long periods of time as you're playing. Now, the other thing is that they've changed the way the face controls are for I would say for the best reasons. Now, when you pick up this remote, it automatically turns on your TV if your NVIDIA Shield is asleep. So now it has the sensors where if you pick it up, before you'd have to push a button, turn on the remote, and then it would activate the Shield. Now all you do is you pick up the gamepad or the controller, and it automatically gets it going, which is also a nice enhancement. Subtle, but well welcomed. Now, the controller is just like every standard gaming controller, so you have a lot of options when it comes to the things that you're going to do. You do have your USB charging port there, and again, nice feeling grip, and all of your analog sticks feel great in your hand. So a nice improvement, smaller, easier to use, and subtle differences that make your gaming experience much better. Now, what else is in the box? So we do have a micro USB charging cable, Shield quick start information. I'm sure what we have right here are power cables, so we'll see that. So here you have power cable, and looks like that's it. So unfortunately, one of the things I haven't seen included with the Shield ever is an HDMI cable. So that's something that you have to procure on your own. Now, before we do the actual startup, I wanted to just highlight once again the differences that you're going to have from an experience perspective when you're using a Shield. So here you see the Roku, the Fire TV, and the Apple TV, and then the performance that you're getting from a Shield TV, how it's significantly faster than any of these other solutions when it comes to overall performance. And that's despite the fact that it's using the same processor as the previous generation. But there's enough to love with this one. So let's go ahead and start it up and see how it works. So let's go ahead and power up the Shield. I have it connected to my monitor. I'll go ahead and put the power source in, and we can see that it's already starting up. I'll switch input mode so we can see what the process is like. So now after a couple seconds you would see the NVIDIA Shield logo, and the next step here is to select the language settings that you have and go through the configuration. So I'm going to go through a couple of those steps and we'll come back so you can see the actual unit itself perform. Now, one of the neat things that has changed with this version of the NVIDIA Shield is that if you have an existing phone or tablet, Android tablet, you can use it to configure your Shield. Remember, the Google Home solution and the NVIDIA Shield now have very similar capabilities. So if you do choose, and I'm just going to use the remote here, and I'm going to say yes, I have a phone or tablet, it's going to walk me through a process if I'd like to use my phone to set it up. So there is a standard setup or there is a phone setup. All it's asking you to do now is to use the setup my device command, or to say and speak the code word or the activation word which set up my device, and then you should see the Shield on the screen. So I've opened up the Google app, and even though the icon is not exactly the same, I just want to show you which one it is. It's this one right here, the Google one. So I'm going to tap that, and then I'm going to go ahead and speak the command and go through the setup. So let's watch how this works. Okay, Google, set up my device. So it gives me a little prompt regarding Wi-Fi and data, and hit next. And looky there, the Shield is there. I'm going to choose a Shield, and now it's going to connect and go through the setup process. And you can see how the screen is updating, and here I have my code. I'm going to hit next, and now it'll go through the process. Now the next step in the process is to use your phone or laptop to sign into Google. So my Wi-Fi settings came across, but now we have to register the actual Shield with Google. Now once you go to the URL that you see on the screen, what you do is you'll input the code and set up your new TV. As soon as you do that, you'll notice that it will say connected, and then now it says to continue signing. All I have to do is hit continue. It's going to ask me to sign in. And you can see success. Now I'm going to accept the terms and conditions. Allow location information, I'm okay with that. I'm going to continue. I'm going to use my Google account or a different account. Depending on how you have it set up, you may choose something different. I actually have mine set up with my Google account. Now the next step that you'll see is once you've gone to the next step, you'll see kind of an overview of the different remotes. So you'll be able to see how the remote functions, so the swipe controls that you have on it, voice search, home button, back, etc. And you're going to see that for both of the devices. So remember, with the new game remote, all you have to do is pick it up to turn it on. There's really no on button that has to be pressed, so you don't see that there, but you definitely see the start button as well as some of the other controls that allow you to use the game controller. Next step is to restart since it had an update. So now once the update has been completed, the Shield is ready to go, and you can see you have here some content that's already been delivered. Navigation is like really good, what you'd expect from NVIDIA and also as it is in the first generation Shield. You do have access to the full Google Store. Now, one of the neatest things that has changed, in addition to having YouTube and Netflix, which was there before, Amazon Video is available. This was not available before. You could not play, if you were a Prime member, you did not have access to Amazon Video on your Shield. Now you do. The other thing is I mentioned Plex, which is a media center. You could either stream to, or you can turn your Shield into a server itself. Is available there as well. And then obviously you see movies and TV and things like from Vudu. Now let me take you down to the actual setup area. So you have your accessories here. You have the connected devices, so you have a Shield controller and a Shield remote. So you can see the connected devices. Now, one of the things, and we're going to look at this closely in a couple seconds. Well, we'll just do it right now. I haven't been able to find where you charge this guy. So the ports that existed previously, let me make sure that that's in focus right there. I don't see them. So I don't know how you charge this or how this is working. I'm hoping that I don't have a defective one, but you'll notice here there is no micro USB charging area. So maybe this doesn't require any charging. I don't know how it would work, but looking at what I see here, you have both the Shield Remote 1 and the Shield controller here available with updates. So that's one thing that I would always recommend you do, is that you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and update both of these controllers, and then we'll continue with the presentation. Now once you do an update, you'll see that it's going from a version 0.54 for this to now version 1.0. And I always recommend, especially even though this is a retail version, what I have, and this unboxing is for a retail version of the Shield, and this is what you should expect when you get it. It's always good, especially for a new product like this, to have the devices, the drivers, everything current, especially when it's just you're getting it on release day or before release day. So we're going to go ahead and do it for each one, and the process is pretty similar. It's just select the device and then do the update. So I'm just going to put things down, let them update, and then we'll come back once I've completed both updating the controller and the gamepad. So now one of the first things I wanted to do is show you what version of software you have on the unit. So this does have the latest release. This is of Android TV version 5.0, and it will receive, as well as the older version of this unit, the 2015 version, it will also receive the updates. So everything is current. I actually didn't have to go through any kind of system update. However, I did have to update the apps that were already pre-installed, and those are the ones that we saw as we launched the Shield. Now also, as you can see here, you do have the ability to control your network, display and sound. This is where you would go to for a lot of your system information. You do have apps, your storage and reset. Remember, this is the 16 gig version, and you can expand it using a USB 3 USB key, and they do recommend one from SanDisk, and I'll include the link for that if you want to do that in the comment area. I actually will be getting that in as well, and we'll review that and how it works. Screensaver, and obviously a Google Cast, so you can cast to this without any problems. Language settings, you have keyboard, again, everything that is pretty standard when it comes to your, again, Android ecosystem or Shield. Now, one of the things that you also have the ability to do here, and we're going to go up to the very top, is install Kodi. I went ahead and installed Kodi, and again, Kodi is that media center application. Right now, Kodi is not configured, but I just wanted to give you a sense of how fast things are with Kodi. So I'm going to hit Kodi, and now this is going to be the first time setup. So that's how fast it is. Did you notice that? Very first time launching, typically you see a kind of like a progress bar on the very bottom, and it is boom, it's there. So this is why this unit is considered one of the best units when it comes for Kodi and streaming content. I'm going to configure this with all the add-ons that we need, and I'll show you how quickly it streams as well, but that should give you a sense of why this device is up to 12 times faster than the competition. Now, NVIDIA does also have an ecosystem for gaming. So we're going to go into NVIDIA Games, and there's a couple things you can do. You'll notice at the very top you have either My Games or Stream or Setup and Game Stream. So what you could do is if you have an NVIDIA based graphics card on your desktop, you can actually play those games on this
Shield as if it were a console game. So it will stream it, and there's tons of videos out on the market where they're showing this. I was at CES and they were showing me how they were playing in 4K streaming without any problems, and the unit that they were using was the 16 gig unit that I have. But you see there's a lot of games. It does have its own marketplace. You can continue to use the same credentials that you have for Apple if you want to, not for Apple but for Google. For the Google Marketplace. There are some free games, and there are also those that you would pay. But again, you're going to be able to get up to 4K content when it comes to the gameplay. Now, the library itself has also been organized, I think, and has been improved, so you can see how you can see things either most popular, top free Android, a lot of capabilities when it comes to accessing information, and they just made everything much easier to access. Now, there are several capabilities that are going to be coming in for the Shield, but I'm just going to show you what you can do with it from a voice perspective. Let me ask and see what the weather is like. So let's try that. What's the weather like today?
Today's forecast for Alsip is 27 degrees and cloudy.
All right, so it's giving me the weather. Okay. What movies are playing at the show? Well, didn't quite get that. Let's try that one more time. What movies are playing now? All right, so here you have the movies close in my area. You can see that there. So pretty much anything that you can ask your Google Home, or in this case your phone, you can ask the Shield itself because it does have Google built in. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility. You can also play music. If you do have a YouTube Red account, it also applies here, so you'll be able to stream the music that you have on your YouTube Red, as well as have an experience that's ad-free. All right, so I've went ahead and configured Kodi, and I want to show you now what the difference is like. So we're going to go ahead and start it up. And again, this is how fast it is. And I chose a very easy add-on package so that it would just be easy to demonstrate. But you saw how fast this thing loads Kodi. So this is why it's the best one. Now, we're going to go ahead and see how this works. For those of you who aren't familiar with Kodi, it really is a program. It's a media solution that allows you to add add-ons that give you access to an enormous amount of content that's available on the internet. So what you can do is literally select content from multiple sources and view it all online and for the most part in real time. Now let's go ahead and go into Exodus, which is one of my favorite add-ons, and it's one of the most complete. If we go into it, what you can do is see movies, TV shows, movies that are at the show still, and let's go ahead and look at TV shows just for a second. We're going to look at the most popular ones. And you'll see how even the artwork just comes up immediately. And I haven't really gone into this before, so I'm showing you first time access and how quickly it downloads and shows the content. We'll go ahead and choose Sherlock. And notice all the seasons are there. We'll choose the most current season. I'm going to choose the first episode. And it's going to try to source the content from the internet to see what's available. And then once it's done that, it's going to show me various versions of this content in various resolutions. So we're going to see that come up here. So here's 1080p as well as other resolutions. We'll see if this one's available. And you can see now my content is streaming, and you saw how fast that was. And literally it was almost buffer free, or well, not almost, there was no buffering. I can fast forward. Notice how I'm moving forward, just seeking as it's going forward, and no latency at all. So tremendous performance coming from again this NVIDIA Shield box running Kodi. Now, in addition to seeing content as you see here, just general content, you can also get other content. So we'll exit for a second and let's check out movies for a second and see what's available. So from movies, I'll go ahead and look at stuff that's in theater, and once again, this is the kind of content that is available. If I want to go ahead and see this specific movie, I select it. It's going to go through the process. It's going to see what's available, and then it will immediately start streaming once I find some of the sources. And the sources are going to vary. The Shield can run 4K content, but the content has to be available. If you only find 1080p content, then that's what it's going to run for you. But the overall experience is pretty fast. Now what you're seeing here is it's again looking at the sources. That is something that does take some time, and it's based on a timer, but if I cancel out of it, what I'll see immediately are the sources that are available. And we'll go ahead and start from a 1080p. Again, see the speed in which the Shield immediately starts showing the content. And that's, again, why it's the best box on the market for streaming content. I can fast forward, so you can see, and again, 1080p content coming across. Great box. Now, for those of you who are Netflix users, obviously Netflix is also available, so you can choose Netflix. You can choose any episode, and what we'll do is we'll choose an episode just to see how quickly the content comes across. This does support, again, the highest resolutions available on Netflix. So let's see if we can find something. We'll go ahead and choose this one, and we'll see. We're going to say play episode 1. And you can see how quickly the content is coming across. And we'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Let's go to somewhere where there's some content. Again, so fast. And you can move forward to the next one. And it's like stutter free. We'll choose this one. Look how fast that is. So once again, high performing TV box, great quality. Again, 4K if available, definitely a high stream. I don't know if it's coming across on the recording, but a fantastic solution again for Netflix as well. All right, so now let's check Amazon out, since Amazon is the latest app to come to the Shield. We'll choose that, just so you can see what the experience is like. It's loaded. It doesn't load as fast as Netflix does, I'll say, but I'm sure there's going to be subsequent editions of this. Let's choose one of the shows that's most popular. So this is Man in the High Castle, and what we'll choose is episode 1, and we'll let it run. Again, not as fast as what you see from Netflix, but that may be Amazon. We'll go ahead and fast forward a bit, and this content is in HD. It doesn't say 4K, but what you're seeing is all the content. And once again, it's streaming without any problems. What I can do is, again, fast forward, very similar to what you see, and I can just do like a speed forward. It doesn't work quite like Netflix, but still's there. So here you're seeing again the streaming capabilities. So let's look at gaming now. I'm going to go ahead and choose a very popular game, which is Asphalt 8. We'll choose an install. And this is going to be a 41 meg download. Notice how fast that was. Done almost instantaneously. Now I have a 150 meg download capacity on my network, and definitely the Shield is taking advantage of it. So let's go ahead and start it up. I'm going to hit open. So you can see the gameplay and just the overall response. I'm going to be switching controllers, and there's some additional an additional download that needs to come down, so let's do that. Now while we're waiting for the download, and you can see that here on the side where the download is taking place, and again that's 20 megabytes, going up to the 40, which is pretty fast. You're seeing this visual playback of, just to entertain you while you're waiting for the download. So we'll let this continue, and then we'll come back to gameplay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at gameplay. I'm going to try to give you a sense of what this looks like at the same time as recording. Again, no different than playing on an Xbox or a PlayStation. You're going to get your cinematic trailer that's going to come up, and then it's going to go into the actual game. Obviously, you can skip this kind of stuff, but we're going to go ahead and see how this works. So the controller is very responsive. My driving is not. So we'll go ahead and try up. So it took someone out. Alright. So all in all, very responsive game controller. The screen itself is keeping up nicely. And I'll tell you, it really transforms the way you and I play, standard Android games. Barely made it. So nice gameplay, and there are first-person shooters. So let's go ahead and switch and look at a first-person shooter. So next up is Modern Combat. So installing the actual application or the game is pretty fast. So now it's starting to play, it's downloading, and we're going to see what the play is like.
Now I skipped the trailers just so you can see again the performance on the very bottom here. So you can see the actual download speeds that are taking place. So downloading 711 meg, and it's doing it really fast. Now as the game starts loading, you may be asking yourself, how long will this game controller run on one charge? NVIDIA is claiming 60 hours of gameplay. 60. That's fantastic. So here's some gameplay on one of the games that are on there. So I'm going to go ahead and move around. Again, if you're a first-person shooter or like these type of games and you're not into gameplay, this is definitely the place to go. Again, great graphics. You can see around how nice and responsive it is. Really, it's going to be up to you as to what kind of games you like and what kind of playing you're into. Go ahead and do some shooting. As you can see here, I took a couple people down. But once again, fantastic gameplay, what you expect from NVIDIA. Now, in addition to the standard controls, the remote itself, you can raise or decrease the volume just by touching this area. And if you want to have access to Google Voice commands, all you do is you press the center and the Google Voice commands will come up, so you can ask it whatever you like.